Good day, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of ServiceDesk Plus Cloud Masterclass 2023 series. In previous episodes, we learned about crafting dynamic templates. Next, we saw how you can set up various automations in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. And finally, in the last episode, we saw how you can standardize the ITSM processes with the visual workflows and lifecycles. Right now, in today's episode, we'll be talking about strengthening the ITSM ecosystem with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud integrations. I'm Aditya, and I'm a product expert with ServiceDesk Plus team. However, today we have 5 more product experts from 5 different teams joining us today to showcase the various integrations in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. Right? As you may know, that ManageEngine ServiceDesk Plus Cloud offers integrations with a lot of other ManageEngine products such as Site 24/7, Applications Manager, ADManager Plus, and so on. Right? However, in today's episode, our 5 product experts will be talking about how you can effectively manage your Active Directory users using the ADManager Plus and AD Self-Service Plus. Next, we'll talk about how you can build cost-efficient help desk teams with analytics-driven IT service management using Analytics Plus. And then we'll move on to see how you can simplify your incident management and optimize troubleshooting and a lot more with Endpoint Central. Then we'll see how you can identify network issues proactively and deal with them effectively using OpManager integration. And finally, we'll check out how you can seamlessly streamline privilege access control with PAM 360. Right? So this is the agenda for today's session. Now, see how you can strengthen the ITSM ecosystem with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud integrations. Right? So we'll start with the first presenter of the day, which is Sujit Emmanuel from AD team.
Thank you, Aditya, for that intro. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon from whichever part of the country you're joining us today. Thank you for this masterclass. I really appreciate each and every one of you who's taken time of your day to be here with us. Thank you. It means a lot. So we have a great lineup speaking about all the ManageEngine integration possibility for the next 1 hour, or maybe less than that too. And as Aditya said, if you've got any questions as we speak, please use the Q&A and you can shoot in your queries, or do not forget there is an easy email address as well. That would be hello@servicedeskplus.com. So any queries on the integration possibility, which the experts is going to speak, or as I speak, if you've got any questions, please feel free to put in there or put that on the Q&A box, and we would be more than happy to answer for you all. All right, so with that, diving into today's session, my name is Sujit, and I'm a technical evangelist with ManageEngine, and I'm with this organization for the last 7 years, and I'm in the industry for almost 12 years now. And as a technical evangelist, I do 2 things. One, I get the opportunity to travel around the world, speak about identity access management and SIEM. And secondly, my favorite, I implement ManageEngine suite of products in customers' environment. I get to speak with administrators, security officers like you, knowing your current problems, managing your IT infrastructure, and bring all your problems, speak that to my dev team, which is my engineering team, to see how your problems can made as a feature. So this is pretty much I've been doing with ManageEngine. And speaking about enabling your service desk ManageEngine Active Directory users. So with my little experience, I prepared this deck for you all. So I'm just going to keep it short as I have a very short span of time for me to speak as others have been lined up here. So this picture, which is up on your screen, is a very familiar picture, right? So right now we are living in a multi-ecosystem. Earlier, maybe if I'm speaking 15 years ago or a decade ago, it was all about on-prem Active Directory, Exchange on-premise, and there we saw a small growth of Google coming with the mailboxes. But right now, after pandemic hit us, and like we brought in so many applications which we incorporated to making sure that my network infrastructure radar is clear, clean, secure. Okay, so let me take a simple use case here. If a user has to onboard in your organization, the first point of a contact is an HR, right? So HR picks up all the information, records those information on their own HRMS tool. Right now, HRMS tools are available on-prem, SaaS, SAP, or it could be a database, right? So if the informations have been recorded on a HRMS system, and from HRMS system, it goes over to your ticketing tool, which is ServiceDesk Plus on demand, or it's an on-prem solution, and the request been assigned over there. And from there, it gets assigned to a technician, and the technician would go to AD, create the account there, and maybe pass over that request maybe to the M365 team or the mailbox team, and the mailbox get created for this user. And from there, it goes to the workforce application, meaning a user or this entire onboarding flow toggles between multiple windows. I'm not here to tell you that user provisioning is difficult, but it is definitely time consuming. What if I tell you if all these sources or of all these ecosystem can be integrated and managed from a single pane of a glass? And that is what I want to tell you. So there are two sides of the story, which I'm going to tell you here. So just diving in, how to integrate all your ecosystem and orchestrate your onboarding and offboarding process. And if time allows, I'll also show you how you can allow your end users to reset password and unlock their account on their own with having the kill switch always with you. Okay. So I'm just going to take you here to this product. And Aditya said there are the second highest is ADManager Plus customers who have joined on the call, and that puts a smile on my face now. Thank you all for joining. And if you are currently evaluating ADManager Plus, or if you currently has a licensed version of ADManager Plus, the integration possibilities that I'm going to speak, if you have not integrated, I am here to help you with this. So the two side of the story that I want to tell you here, how from Service Desk Plus on demand, you can do your user provisioning. Okay, so which is called as a tight integration. And the second thing that I'm going to speak is how to enable orchestration with the help of a webhook technology. So the first thing that I'm going to show you here, the tight integration between ADManager Plus and Service Desk Plus on demand. All that you have to do on the ADManager Plus, you have to just go to the admin tab, okay, and then get into the integration, and then you have Service Desk Plus Cloud. So you want to hit Service Desk Plus Cloud. You will enable integration here, and then you would put in the referrer URL, which is your on-demand URL. Once you put the URL here, click on save. Now we'll go to your Service Desk Plus on demand here. And there are two things that you have to do here during the tight integration process. So before that, I just want to show you how the UI is going to look for you. So if there is a request that is lying down on your Service Desk Plus on demand on the request page, let's say this is for create a new email account for me. Just from this request page, you have the AD action to create an account, delete, enable, disable, reset a password, unlock an account. Some of the non-administrative tasks which has been done by a non-administrative user on your day-to-day basis can be done from your Service Desk Plus itself. No more toggling between multiple windows or doing multiple manual entries. Just from one single console, you can actually do it. And for you to enable this integration, like one step that we did from the ADManager Plus, I keyed in the URL, meaning the Service Desk Plus URL on my ADManager Plus. And now on the Service Desk Plus, there are two things that I'll be doing. I will hit the setup icon here on my Service Desk Plus on demand. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to download a probe here. Basically, once I install a probe here, it'll give me a probe key. Okay, and this is for the communication between Service Desk Plus on demand and to my on-prem ADManager Plus. So once the key is being generated here, the next thing that I would do is again I will go to the setup tab. Okay, and then I'll just scroll down to the page where I can do the integrations, which is apps and add-ons. I'll hit integration here, and then I have a dedicated page which shows all the ManageEngine integrations that I can do on Service Desk Plus on demand. And you can see ADManager Plus, which I've already enabled, which for you it'll be on a disabled state. Once you hit enable here, and now when you click on more on the left pane, you will get to see the ADManager Plus. Okay, I've installed a probe. After I installed the probe, it gave me a probe key. Okay, I've hidden this URL on my ADManager Plus. Now, after I enabled integration, ADManager Plus integration, and this is the option that I will get where I will put in the ADManager Plus server details, meaning the URL, the port number, and then the status connection will automatically get established. And the next thing is you have to enable an auth token. So if you ask me, Sujit, where can I create an auth token, which I have to key in on my service desk on demand. So on the ADManager Plus product, so we have the option to generate auth tokens for you. If you have already initiated one, you could use the same one in case if you want to create a new auth token. All that you have to do is just click on my account and you have the option create active auth tokens. Click on generate auth token, just key in a name, set the actions, meaning if you want to set all the actions and set an expiration date, and this will create an auth token, which you're going to key in here on the integration part. Once you do this, hit save clean. Okay. Now from on, if you have your service catalog enabled in your service desk plus on demand, now there is a request coming for creating an account, reset password, unlock an account. You do not have to toggle between multiple windows. Just from the Service Desk Plus on-demand console, you will be able to manage that action. So this is one side of the story. Okay, let's speak about the other possibility, because right now we're speaking on an on-demand version. Now here on ADManager Plus, we have the possibility to integrate all your workforce applications. So the place that we do it here is on the automation. We have an option called as HCM integration, and this gives me the possibility to integrate all the workforce application. By default, ADManager Plus takes care of managing your on-prem AD, Azure, M365, Exchange on-premise, Google Workspace. Now let's speak about your HCM, your help desk solution, and then your other workforce application. I can integrate all those applications right at this place, because right now we are living in an API world. Earlier it was PowerShell script. Right now everything is API. And for me to do an API integration, all that I would require is an endpoint URL and an authorization key. In some extent, we require the params and the value field also. Once I have these information, then I can easily talk to these application, and I can retrieve things from there, and I can update it in the respective places. So here on my onboarding flow, all that I want to do is I have an HRMS solution here called as Sage HR. Okay, what I'm going to do is from the Sage HR, ADManager Plus going to do the talking from the Sage HRMS tool. And from there, what it's going to do is it will automatically create a request for me on my Service Desk Plus on demand. Okay, and it'll automatically create an account on AD M365, and then it'll create an access on my Jump Cloud. So this option that you have here is called as uh, orchestration with the help of a webhook, where you basically create your own logic. So my own logic on my onboarding process is after ADManager Plus picks a request from the HRMS, second thing, it'll automatically raise a request on my STP, second, access to my Jump Cloud. I wanted to run a custom script, and finally trigger an email notification to the user's manager or to the supervisor saying the account has been created and the relevant application access has been given to those users. So from one console, you can manage, you can tie all your ecosystems, and you can do the onboarding as well as you can do the offboarding process. All right. So with that, I've come to end of my session. It's time for me to pass on the baton to the next person who's waiting on the line. So if you've got any questions here, you can feel free to reach out to me at sujit.s@manageengine.com, or you can reach out, drop an email to hello@servicedeskplus.com. Thank you all for hearing me. You all were a wonderful audience, and have a great day there. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sujit. That was a very informative session on AD management. Now, next up is Nicholas Nirmal from Analytics Plus. Nicholas, over to you.
Thank you, Aditya. I hope my screen is visible. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas, and I'm the service delivery lead from ManageEngine Analytics Plus. I've been with the product right from day one. And in today's episode, we'll be discussing on building high-value, cost-efficient help desk teams with analytics-driven IT service management. So here's the agenda for today's session. So we are going to be covering what is analytics, how to integrate Service Desk Plus with Analytics Plus, and how are we going to leverage the predefined reports and dashboards to track the efficiency. And we'll also be exploring the advanced analytics features to improve the help desk productivity. And finally, we will be discussing on how we can collaborate within the Analytics Plus application for informed decision making. So let's get right into the agenda. So what is Analytics Plus? Analytics Plus is a flagship IT analytics solution from ManageEngine. So it can seamlessly integrate with ServiceDesk Plus and other ManageEngine application as well. The benefit of this integration is that the moment you integrate, it is going to give you 400 plus predefined reports and dashboards out of the box. All you have to do is just connect your Analytics Plus with your Service Desk Plus. Let's see how we are going to do the integration. Right. So for this, I'm going to have my Service Desk Plus instance right here because the integration will be enabled from this Service Desk Plus. All right. So all you have to do is log into your Service Desk Plus application and go to Setup. And under Apps and Add-ons, you will have Analytics Plus. Clicking onto which will take you into this integration page. All you have to do is just click on this Enable Analytics button and confirm it. So that's it. So that's pretty much it for you to enable the integration. So after a while, the integration will be triggered, just a couple of minutes, within which you would get to see the workspace created here with the data, reports, and dashboards. But before I get into the product, I would like to help you with familiarizing important terminologies that we would be using in today's session as follows. So the first one is going to be workspace. Workspace is a placeholder or more like a folder within which you can find the relevant data, reports, and dashboards. For example, if you integrate analytics with ServiceDesk Plus, you will see a workspace created. If you get into it, you will find the data, reports, and dashboards from the ServiceDesk Plus application. And tables are the raw data in the form of columns and rows. So any data we import into Analytics Plus will be stored in the form of tables. And upon these tables, the reports and dashboards will be built. So reports, as we know, better representation of the data for informed decision making. And dashboard is a collection of reports in a single pane of window, right? So with that being said, let's get into the product. So the first point that we are going to cover is how we can leverage the predefined or the out-of-the-box reports and dashboards to track the efficiency. So I'm going to take this report as an example, which captures the average resolution time, and it does a comparison for current quarter versus the last quarter or 3 months ago. So this bifurcates the data based on the category. But if we feel that it will be more efficient if we could track this by technicians. So for this, you don't have to create another report. All you have to do is just change the x-axis by clicking in here, and you get to select whichever value you wanted to showcase it here. Here I'm going to select technician. So if you look at this report, John Roberts seems to have no improvement in its resolution time, unlike the others. So the other technician seems to have improved in terms of the average resolution time, but he seems to be stagnant and it's pretty high. So in such case, what you can do is you can probably engage him in trainings where he can handle the tickets better. That will be a helping hand for him to handle the tickets better and reduce the resolution time. That thereby will have a positive impact on the efficiency of ticket handling, right? So after the training, you can still continue to observe this trend and see if the steps that you have taken to improve his efficiency is paying effort. Paying a worth or not, right? So that is the out-of-the-box report. But when it comes to creating a report, so that is going to closely correlate with enhancing the productivity using the advanced analytics feature. So now that I've shown you a report that is available out of the box, I'm going to create a report using the advanced analytics feature, one of the advanced analytics feature called Ask Zia. So Ask Zia is an artificial intelligence that we have embedded with the product. So you can simply ask a question in plain English, and it will give you the answers in the form of reports and insights. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask a question let's say assets, for example. So I'm using assets in my help desk, and I would like to know how many assets are about to expire in the next 6 months, so that I can plan my assets, so that I can ensure that there is no gap in the resources, and thereby my productivity will not be impacted in any ways due to the lack of resource. For me to get that insight, I need to first identify how many assets are about to expire in the next 6 months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question, assets that are about to expire, and I can bifurcate by age tiers. So all I'm going to do is just type in assets about to expire by age tier. That's it. So you see a report has been created, and it is intelligent enough to bifurcate the time differences in months, and it packages it to 0 to 6 months and 1 year and more than 1 year. So if you look at most of my assets most of the assets that are about to expire falling under 0 to 6 months. So I have to plan, I need 17 more assets or 17 new assets in the next 6 months. So my help desk productivity will nowhere being affected. So I can probably place an order ahead of time, and I can stock all the assets. So once it is about to expire, probably a couple of weeks before, I can replace those assets with the new assets. Therefore, there will not be any breakage. So that's how we can increase the productivity by getting the insights from this report. And creating this report is simple and straightforward using the advanced analytics feature, right? So now that we've seen how we can leverage the out-of-the-box reports, dashboards, and how to create reports using the advanced analytics feature, let's move ahead to the last and final topic of today's session, how to cultivate a culture of data-driven decision-making. So this is nothing but getting an exposure of your daily metrics or the critical insights from your help desk data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this dashboard, for example, which talks about various metrics of a technician, which is a technician leaderboard dashboard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on share, and there is an option called publish. So this will allow me to create a URL through which I can access this report within my organization, even without having to log into the application. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this link, and I can probably embed it in my ServiceDesk Plus itself, right? So whenever a technician logs in, so let me name it analytics, and all I have to do is go to customize, add a new URL widget, paste it. That's it. So the dashboard that I've created in Analytics Plus is now being embedded, or now it's embedded into ServiceDesk Plus, which makes the technician kept updated about their daily metrics, and that could be a motivation factor for them, so that they can review the metrics on the daily basis and they can work towards keeping their metrics in line, right? So yeah, that's pretty much about how we can make use of the product with the given time. And we have actually come to the end of the session as well. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to send me an email to the email address that you see on the screen, and I'll be able to help you out. So thank you all for taking up your time in attending this session. Looking forward for the next sessions as well.
Thank you, Nicholas, again. And moving on to the next one, which is Basil Hudson from Endpoint Central.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to SDP Masterclass 2023. So today I'm going to discuss about Endpoint Central integration with ServiceDesk Plus. And I'm Basil. I've been working with Endpoint Central for the past 6 years, and I'm a product expert. and I'm specialized with implementation and training. So prior moving on to the integration part, I would like to make you understand what is Endpoint Central. And I do see the polls. I do see that a lot of Endpoint Central customers are here. I'm glad to see you all. But those who are not aware of Endpoint Central, Endpoint Central is a web-based application for endpoint administration and management. And this application enables an administrator to use the product or to manage all the endpoints from a central point of console. And it also comprises certain features like software deployment, patch management, service pack installation, asset management, OS deployment, remote control, configurations, and system tools. Apart from this, we also have certain security add-ons also available like browser control, device control, vulnerability management. So this product is a vast product, and we also support multiple devices. It can be a desktop, mobile, tablet, server, laptop, TV, or IoT device, or a rugged device. So moving forward, so today agenda is what are the benefits of integrating Endpoint Central Cloud or on-prem solution with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, and how we can integrate ServiceDesk Plus Cloud with Endpoint Central on-prem as well as cloud. So the benefits of integrations are you can have a better end user experience for incident management, and even a non-tech user and admin can perform an IT management task, and it will reduce the downtime of basic IT requirements in a distributed workforce. So the features which can be integrated is with the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud and with Endpoint Central Cloud, asset data posting is available for the integration. So asset data in the sense it can be a hardware detail of an endpoint, it can be software details of the endpoint, warranty details, user account details, driver details. And when it comes to Endpoint Central on-prem and ServiceDesk Plus Cloud integration, we have an additional feature of logging on help desk request as a ticket. So we'll move on to the integration part. So first I will explain about Endpoint Central Cloud and ServiceDesk Plus Cloud integration. So for the Endpoint Central Cloud and ServiceDesk integration, it's a very simple task. All you need to do is you have to go to the Endpoint Central console. So let me go there. And you can go to admin. And you can click on ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. And you have to just enable the integration. So that's all you need to do. But sometimes this seems like a simple task, but sometimes you may come across some problem. So the reason behind those issues would be you should have a sufficient license to manage the endpoints to your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud instance, as well as the user or the technician who is doing this activity should be having an admin privilege, and as well as the user and the technician who is doing this activation process should be available with Endpoint Central as well as with the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. So that is the reason you may get a failure. Other than that, it's a seamless integration. Once the integration is done, you'll get all the asset details by default. So you may have certain assets available in your Endpoint Central. Every asset detail will be right away available with your service desk. So now I'm moving on to Endpoint Central on-prem integration with the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. So in order to integrate Endpoint Central on-prem to the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, there are certain things we need to do on the Endpoint Central console side, as well as on the ServiceDesk Plus console. So first on the Endpoint Central console, we have to go to admin and go to ServiceDesk Plus settings. And you can use ServiceDesk Plus on demand. And then you have to choose the URL. So this URL is based on the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud account created data center. So if you are not aware of this, you can also go to your ServiceDesk Plus console and click on this dots and go to ESM directory, and you can go to the organization URL and you can find out the domain. And once you have an idea about your domain, you can provide the entry here, and then you have to provide an authentication file. So in order to create an authentication file, you have to log into Zoho API console. So this is the API console website. And then you have to click on Get Started, and you have to create a self client. So once a self client is created, it will ask you to generate a code. So the code will be available as a scope. So it is available here. So the letters which I highlighted in yellow, This is the code. So you have to enter this code into the console, and then you have to select the time duration as 10 minutes, and you can provide the description as Endpoint Central or whatever description you want to provide. And then you have to click on create. Once you click on create, it will create a JSON file. So this is the option you will get, and you have to click on download. And once you download the JSON file, you have to upload the JSON file into the console. So once it has been uploaded to the console, you have to click on next. And once you click on next, it will ask you to choose what are the functionalities you want to integrate. So once you choose the functionalities you want to integrate, so this is how the page will be. And once you choose the functionalities of integration, your integration is completed and your asset data will be posted. Along with that, since it is an on-prem based product and your service desk is a cloud, so you can leverage your Endpoint Central agent to create a cloud-based ticket directly from the Endpoint Central agent. So that's how you will be able to leverage the agent data and as well as asset data and the agents to help you to create the service desk ticket. So that's all about integration between ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, Endpoint Central on-prem, and Endpoint Central Cloud. So if you have any questions, kindly let me know. Thank you all.
Right. Thank you, Basil, for a very informative session. Now, moving on to the next one. The next session will be OpManager integration, which is presented by Nikhil Frederick. Over to you, Nikhil.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. So hi all, welcome to STP Masterclass 2023. So today we'll learn how you can streamline your asset discovery process, along with how you can seamlessly sync and map your configuration items as well as your virtual machines with the help of ManageEngine OpManager as your ServiceDesk Plus integration. This is the agenda for today's session, which will cover OpManager, its overview and benefits, some of the steps to enable the integration, and 3 key integration capabilities, which include configuration item, relationship syncing and mapping, automated OpManager alarm sync as ServiceDesk Plus Cloud tickets, and seamless virtual machine relationship syncing and mapping. I'm Nikhil Frederick, product consultant for Atom Suite of Products, and I'll be the presenter for today's session. First, let us look at OpManager. So what is OpManager? OpManager is basically a unified network monitoring solution, which is designed specifically to oversee in real time the health, fault, and performance of your configuration items, which also ensures that you receive an uninterrupted network infrastructure. So also OpManager leverages AI and ML workflows, provides a user-friendly UI, customizable dashboards, and as well as round-the-clock alerting system. So why OpManager needs to be integrated with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, and what are the integration benefits you receive? So with OpManager's automated configuration item discovery, you can ensure that your CMDB stays up to date always. Also, you can enhance your asset management capabilities by proactively identifying any network irregularities with its real-time monitoring of health and performance. Some of the key integration benefits you receive include automatic configuration item discovery, which ensures an up-to-date CMDB, topographical view of all the L2 devices or the L2 configuration items along with mapping, support for virtual machine syncing and mapping, and automated alarms to ticket transition in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. So now let us look at how you can set up the OpManager ServiceDesk Plus Cloud integration. So first, since integration is a two-way process, first let us look at how you can enable OpManager from your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud console. To do that, first you need to download and install OpManager. Once your OpManager is installed and you have configured it, go to STP console, click on Setup. Here under Apps and Add-ons, you can find integrations. Just click on it. Click on the ManageEngine Integrations tab over here, and here you can find OpManager. From here, you can enable the OpManager by providing the details of the OpManager server name and etc. Since I've enabled it, it's coming as enabled. So after that, your OpManager will be seamlessly synced with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. Next, we look at how you can enable ServiceDesk Plus Cloud from the OpManager console to ensure a seamless asset synchronization process. To do that, in the OpManager console, go to Settings, click on Third-Party Integrations. Here you can find ServiceDesk Plus Cloud over here. Just click on Configure. And here you need to provide the grant token. So grant token is nothing but a unique code which is generated to ensure the integration process is successful. So if you want to generate a grant token, you can click on the link provided here and you can generate it and you can paste it over here. Next, you can provide the portal settings. Next, you can select the ticket settings. If suppose a alert reoccurs in OpManager, what should be the action that must be performed in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud? Whether it should create a new ticket or you should reopen the closed ticket, you can select any one. Here you can see the CMDB settings. It's best to enable all these to get a seamless asset synchronization. And you can just click on this asset, acknowledgement, and just click on sync now. After you click on sync now, all your assets will be immediately synced with ManageEngine OpManager, and you can start to monitor in real time for its health and performance. So that is all about setting up the integration. Next, let us look at some of the key integration capabilities. The first one is the automatic OpManager asset sync with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. Next is building automated support workflows to log a ticket. And next is the autonomous or automatic configuration item, as well as virtual machine relationship syncing and mapping. Next is the seamless transition of OpManager alarms as ServiceDesk Plus Cloud tickets. And finally, establishing ticket profiles for group of configuration items. So today we'll be looking at 3 key integration capabilities in detail, which includes the autonomous CI relationship sync and maps, as well as the VM relationship sync and maps, along with the seamless transition of OpManager alarms as ServiceDesk Plus Cloud tickets. So first, let us look at configuration item relationship syncing and mapping. So with this functionality, you get a topographical view of all the interconnected configuration items on your network, which displays all the nodes, their interlink layers, port-to-port connections, etc. So this will be helpful for network technicians during troubleshooting times for any of the configuration items. So let me show you how to set this up. So first, you need to go to the OpManager UI, click on Maps. Here you can find layer 2 maps over here. Just click on the plus symbol next to it. Provide the layer 2 map, name the seed device IP address, the start IP and the end IP. Select the credential and click on Discover. As soon as you click on Discover, OpManager will automatically discover all the assets that are between this IP, which is connected to this particular seed device, and it will draw a map. So let me show you how that will look. So once the map is discovered, it will be shown here. You can just click on it and you can view the map. As you can see here, this is the seed device and these 2 are the devices that are connected to it. So as soon as this map is drawn in OpManager, it will be automatically reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud console. So go to CMDB. Since the seed device which I gave is a switch, let me search it as switch. You can find this switch. Just click on the relationship map over here and you can find the same diagram reflected here. So as you can see, this is a seed device and 2 devices connected to it. So as I mentioned before, it will be helpful for network technicians during troubleshooting times. If suppose an anomaly is detected in this particular seed device, the network technicians will automatically know that these 2 devices are interconnected to it, and these may also be affected because of the anomaly, and they can take precautionary action depending on the requirements. So this is about the configuration item mapping. Next is the virtual machine relationship mapping and syncing. So before we saw how you can topographically view the physical components of your network. Now we look at how you can topographically view the virtual machines of your network. So some of the virtual machine platforms that are supported by OpManager include VMware, Hyper-V, Zen, as well as Nutanix. So let me show you this in the UI. In the OpManager UI, go to Maps. Here you can find VMware, Hyper-V, Zen, and Nutanix. You can click on any of it and create a new map. So let me create a VMware map based on this example. So just click on the plus symbol over here. Provide the IP address, the VMware credential, and click on Discover. Once you click on Discover, OpManager will immediately discover the host and the connected virtual machines, and it will draw a map. Once the map is drawn, it will be shown over here. So this is how a map will be. So this is the host, and these are all the interconnected virtual machines to it. So this will also be reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud immediately. So go to CMDB again. Under computer, you can find the VMware host which has been created. Just click on it and click on relationship map. You can view the map over here. So this is the host device, and these are all the interconnected virtual machines. So this is about virtual machine mapping. Next is the automated sync of OpManager alarm, the ServiceDesk Plus Cloud tickets. So with this, you can establish notification profiles, which in OpManager, which will facilitate the automatic creation of tickets whenever an alarm is raised in OpManager. So whenever a ticket is closed in OpManager, ticket is closed in ServiceDesk Plus, the alarm is also disabled in OpManager, and it works vice versa. So let me show you this in the UI. First, you need to go to OpManager, click on Settings, Notification Profiles. Here you can click on Add. You need to click on Log a Ticket. Once you click on Log a Ticket, it will take you to a screen where you need to enter the criteria for this notification profiles. So it will be there in a minute. Yeah. So once this is done, you can provide the category, subcategory. You can just click on Next. Here you can provide the criteria, whether it should be a severe attention trouble or critical severity, and whichever criteria you require. You can click on Next. You can select the devices from here, whichever devices you require. You can click on Next. Here you can provide the time window. Next, you can view all the criteria I've selected and click on Save. Once you click on Save, it will be saved and will be shown as seen here. From here, you can enable or disable this notification profile. So what OpManager will do is that if there is an anomaly detected, it will immediately throw an alarm, which will be in turn reflected immediately as tickets in ServiceDesk Plus. So here in ServiceDesk Plus, under requests, you can see there is an alarm here, which has been transformed into a ticket. So you can see that this is an attention alarm, which was thrown in OpManager because ECP utilization is high, and it is immediately given as tickets. So the technicians can immediately view that this device is problematic and the CPU utilization is high, and they can immediately solve it then and there. So that's it for today. Thank you. If you have any questions, please post it in the Q&A panel.
Thanks a lot, Nikhil, for the session. And moving on to the final session for today is Fazil. So we're going with Fazil Razak for PAM 360. Over to you, Fazil.
Hello, everyone. As a ServiceDesk Plus Cloud customer, you must be aware of different workflows that go hand in hand with your business functions as well as IT management functions, right? So privileged access management is one of those functions that go hand in hand with your business workflows. Now, I'll not just talk about privileged access management, but also tell you how PAM 360 can help make your everyday life easier and how you can weave SecOps into your daily functions and into your business workflows. So that is what this session will primarily be about. Starting off really quickly here, standing privileges or excess privileges have been a risk factor for organizations across the globe. A primary problem with respect to this is when you're standing privileges, when you're sharing privileges that are greater than that required by the user in your organization to carry out their functions, right? So these privileges, once shared, may not be monitored and reviewed periodically. They create a permanent access or a loophole to sensitive or privileged servers, applications, and so on. And if there is a privilege abuse attack, or if someone is using someone else's privileges to gain access to your system, or if there is an insider threat or an external attack, they can move easily within your network undetected using lateral movement, right? So, and they could be exploiting your security and your enterprise security, and for their own gains. So how do we prevent this on a daily basis, and how do we weave SecOps into your business functions that you carry out every day, right? So firstly, let's take an example of this that happens in every organization. It's probably happening in your organization as we speak, when employees join in and employees leave the organization on a daily basis, right? We started off this session with Sujit going through employee onboarding. Now, let's see what are the risks that are possessed by an employee when an employee leaves an organization, right? So when an employee leaves an organization, a particular employee could have access to multiple privileged resources, applications, and servers across your enterprise. So when an employee leaves, there's usually a manual check that happens to check if all the privileges that are granted to the employee are revoked and so on. However, since this is a manual process, there are chances for a different lapses to happen and the employee to have standing privileges that they are not meant to have once they leave this organization. Considering that this is a daily task, PAM 360's integration with your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud platform enables you to automate this using custom functions and have this be a daily routine that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about standing privileges anymore. Now, without further ado, let's look into the product and see how this is done in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. If you're a ServiceDesk Plus Cloud user, you must be very familiar with this interface. Now, if I search, I've created a custom function here to see how employee onboarding happens, right? So here you create a custom function and you enter the required fields that are present here. Now, before we carry out this function, let's also look at PAM 360. Let me introduce you to the product. So PAM 360 is ManageEngine's full stack privileged access management solution, where you can manage all your privileged users, you can manage all your privileged resources and connection from a single central console, such that all access to privileged resources or sensitive resources is gated, and you're always on alert every time access to a particular machine happens. Now, as you can see, there are privileged users in this organization who have access to different sensitive resources. Now, let's take Marcus, for example, right? So let's say Marcus is leaving the organization, and we want to ensure that all privileged resources that are shared with Marcus, let's have a look here. If we look at the user access snapshot in PAM 360, you can see two sensitive servers are shared with Marcus. And if Marcus's access to these sensitive machines is not revoked, Marcus can access these machines even after leaving the organization. Now, an added advantage of using a privileged access management solution here is that all access to sensitive resources as well as privileged resources are granted using the privileged access management solution like PAM 360, such that passwords are not shared directly in plain text to individual users, right? So the access to these machines are only shared to Marcus. Now, Marcus may also be the owner of these machines, where if Marcus was the one who created this machine and shared access to other users, we'll also have to transfer ownership of these machines from Marcus to other privileged users in your environment, right? So there is already an added advantage that individual passwords for sensitive resources aren't shared because we're using a privileged access management solution. But let's say, even if that's the case, Marcus leaves the organization. I type this out, 70% of all cyber attacks include standing privileges in one way or another. So therefore, this is a very important step every time an employee leaves an organization, especially if they are a privileged user. Now, I've simply entered Marcus's username and I've created a custom function here. Now, as you can see in the conversations in your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud user interface, you can see Marcus's user and user ID. You can see that the user account has been locked successfully. Passwords of all the resources owned and accessed by the user have been reset successfully, just in case. And ownership has been transferred. Like I said, if Marcus was the owner of those privileged machines, the ownership has been transferred to other privileged users in the organization. And finally, the user has been deleted. Now, let's also have a look at how this happens in PAM 360. If you go to audit, if you're a PAM 360 user, if you go to audit, as you can see, Marcus has been locked, a password reset was triggered, ownership was changed, and the user was deleted. Now, how do you automate this in your organization? Of course, every time an employee leaves an organization, there is a HRMS tool that you use, an email is generated, and as well as there is a ticket that is generated for the employee to be revoked access to all the resources and et cetera, that they have access to. So when that happens, when a ticket is created in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, you can automate it such that you can mark the last working day of the employee, as well as the time in which you want the schedule to happen. And once a request is created, at that time, you can auto generate such custom function such that all privileged access that was given to Marcus can be revoked and the passwords are reset automatically. This way, you ensure that there are no standing privileges that that are present when a user leaves your organization. Now, there is another integration capability with PAM 360 and ServiceDesk Plus Cloud's integration. So if you are a PAM 360 user, simply go to ticketing system here, right? And you can set up the integration here, right? So all you have to do is mention the client ID, client secret, ticketing system URL, and redirect URL. You can generate this using Zoho's API console. The steps to do it is present in our help document here, the link to which will be shared by Aditya in chat very shortly. Okay, so you can have a look at how to integrate. I will go into the functionality of the same. Now, once you've done and set up this integration, so what this basically does is, although you've granted access to privileged resources to privileged users after vetting and so on, every privileged connection that happens in your organization, whether they want to access a particular server, take an RTT session or an SSH session, and so on, you can mandate that they provide a valid ticket ID such that every time they access a particular machine, a valid ticket ID from ServiceDesk Plus Cloud needs to be supplied to authenticate their access. Let's see this in action. So this is an administrator account in PAM 360. Let me go to a regular base level password user account. Let's take a look at this particular machine. IN AWS EC301. Let's say I am a user. And let's take a look at this machine first and come back to 301. Let's say I'm a user who wants to copy this password such that I can use it elsewhere, or to launch a connection or implement certain changes in the machine. Now I need to copy my password to the clipboard to this privileged machine. I have to provide a valid ticket ID. Let's see if this works. Right, let's just go here and see for a valid ticket ID in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. Let's say 131457 is a valid ticket ID. Now I'm going to put test as the reason for retrieval, and I'm going to proceed. Right, now the password has been copied. So, however, if I did not input a valid ticket ID, which I had raised a ticket for the access of this particular machine, then I will not be able to access this particular machine. So that is one other added layer of security you can add. Additionally, you can ensure that if an access is to be given to a machine, they have to request access from an administrator first before they do it. So this has to be set up in PAM 360 first. Let's take a look at 301, who was a particular machine. Under resource actions in PAM 360, if you go to configure access control, and yeah, so you can have every time a particular machine has to be accessed, an administrator has to approve that particular access in addition to the user providing a ticket ID, right? So you can select which administrators can approve. You can set up miscellaneous settings like enforce approval by at least one administrator and so on. And you can reset the password key after exclusive use. After every use, the password and key associated with the machine or the account gets reset automatically. So you can set this all up, and I'll show you how this functions quickly, right? So if you take a look at this EC301 machine, and if you go to these user accounts, you can see a request option. I cannot normally copy the password now. I have to request access. And once I request access, say in test in PAM 360, right, the administrator will get a notification quickly if I refresh this, where the administrator can then approve in PAM 360. And only when the administrator approves can you then provide the ticket ID and check out the password for using this particular machine. So this is another integration in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud with PAM 360. Now, the primary point of this integration is to ensure all of these individual overheads, such as requesting user access, requesting ticket ID, and all of that happening in silos in both your PAM tool and ITSM tool, creates a different process in both the solutions. We are bringing it together because access to privileged resources is a sensitive matter, and therefore proper validation, although proper validation is required, there is also a way to automate this using PAM 360's integration with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. Like we saw, this happens in flow, where this is an automated process that does not involve a lot of switching between solutions for you. And like this, similar to this, ManageEngine offers a complete ecosystem that is interconnected to make sure all of your business workflows and functions happen seamlessly with each other, and you don't have to have you don't have to go through different solutions. We provide a platform for you where all of it is automated. Here, using PAM 360's integration with ServiceDesk Plus Cloud, you can weave SecOps into your business daily use business functions in ServiceDesk Plus Cloud. Thank you. For more information, please reach out to us at hello-pam360@manageengine.com.
Thanks a lot, Fazil. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. So folks, if you have any questions, please feel free to send it across to us. Meanwhile, so a quick recap. So in today's session, we saw how you can effectively manage Active Directory users with ADManager Plus and AD Self-Service Plus integrations. Then we saw how you can build cost-efficient help desk teams with analytics-driven IT service management using Analytics Plus. Then we saw how you can identify network issues proactively with OpManager integration. Then Basil presented how you can simplify the incident management and optimize troubleshooting with Endpoint Central. And finally, Fazil showcased how you can streamline your privilege access control with PAM 360 integration, right? So, folks, I thank you all for joining today's session. And and we also have our customer success program. So in case you want to know the health of your ServiceDesk Plus Cloud application, you can scan the QR code and you can join a customer success program, and our team will help you with all your automations and integration capabilities, and they'll also help you demonstration with the new training with the if training for any other modules that you would want to learn more about, and so on. Again, so I thank you all for joining today's session. Feel free to shoot any queries and questions if you have, or any feedback you have, to hello@servicedeskplus.com. And with that, this is Aditya signing off.